A very good evening to all Meijis, pious yogis, and volunteers of the retreats. This evening, we shall continue to discuss about the practical aspects of Satipatthana Vipassana meditations. The purpose of practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation is to realize the true natures of mental and physical phenomena or nama rupa through personal experience or direct experience. In order to realize the true natures of mental and physical phenomena, meditators have to mindful of them as they really occur. But the mind or the consciousness can only perceive one phenomenon or an object at each moment. So, in accordance with the guidelines, meditators have to be mindful of whatever object or phenomenon which is arising in the mind or the body as it really occurs. When mindfulness meditators have not yet attained deep concentration, in other words, Khanika Samadhi, then meditators, the mind meditators could be perceiving 2-3 phenomena or even 3 or 4 phenomena almost at the same time. So we have to emphasize in our principle or the guideline of the practice. There is to be mindful and note the most distinct object that's arising at that present moment. For example, when meditators are mindful of the rising movements, then they are still conscious of other body phenomena such as a hot or body sensation such as numbness or pain. Then meditators have to mindful and note the most distinct object or the strongest body object. If the movements of abdomen is the most distinct object, then meditators have to make a mental effort in order to keep the mindfulness with that strongest object. That's the movement of abdomen. When the painful sensation is getting stronger, clearer than the movement of abdomen, then the mindfulness definitely will notice the stronger pain. Then meditators have to follow the mindfulness and note the painful sensation as it really occurs. So meditators have to mindful of the strongest body object or body sensation that's arising at that present moment. If there's no clear object or no clear body object or distinct body sensation perceived by the mind, then meditators have to direct the attention onto the basic object, the movement of abdomen. If the movement of abdomen is not clear at all, then they have to pay attention to the sitting postures and 2 touching points. So when the mindfulness is not sharp and concentration is not strong enough, meditators have to direct the attention of the mind back to the basic object. In other words, the movement of abdomen or the sitting postures and the 2 touching points. But as you know, there are 2 types of phenomena. One is nama or mental phenomena. the other is a physical phenomena, rupa. Whenever meditators are mindful of the strongest body object or the body sensation, then they realize that there's a mental phenomenon, for example, thinking, or there's a desire to move because of the strong pain. Then they should mindful of that mental state as soon as possible. So it's important to mindful and note the mental states, thinking as it really occurs. So mindfulness meditators have to perceive precisely the passing away of that mental state. For example, thinking, then they have to direct the mindfulness, for example, back to the movement of abdomens. If the movement of abdomens is clear, or the painful sensation is very distinct, then they mindful note the painful sensation again. Be mindful of whatever mental states of mental phenomenon that's arising at that moment, and able to perceive clearly or precisely the passing away of every mental state is the first important factor to make progress in Satipatthana meditations. If there's a mental state arising at that moment, for example, thinking or memory, then meditators bring the mindfulness back quickly to the move, for example, to the basic object. Then they are not practicing the way of mindfulness meditation. The meditators bring the mind back to the movement, to the basic object, or sometimes they call this movement abdomens as the primary object. Then they are actually practicing mindfulness meditation in the way of samatha meditations. Sometimes mindfulness meditators are able to sense that the mind is about to think of something. Then they quickly stop the mind from thinking or suppress the mind from thinking. Then this is also not the right way of practicing mindfulness meditation. So the right way is to mindful that the mind is about to think. If the mindfulness is precise, then the feeling that the mind is about to think will disappear or pass away instantly, naturally. Sometimes meditators desire to get rid of certain thinking or to stop the mind from thinking further. This is also not the way of mindfulness meditation. So the key words in the practice mindfulness meditation is to mindful of every mental state, every physical process as it really occurs, and make mental noting or labeling whenever it's possible. Sometimes meditators mindful of certain thinking, for example, thinking of the past or planning for the future. They come to realize the mind still keep on thinking about the same thing, planning for the future again. Then they might stop the mind from thinking or planning. The thinking keep going could be due to the meditators who could not mindful the thinking as thinking, but they are paying attention to the contents of the thinking. So if meditators pay attention to the contents of the thoughts, most likely the process of thoughts you keep going, will be persisting. So it's not easy to mindful and note thinking as thinking or planning as planning until meditators has developed sharp mindfulness and deep concentration. Meditators need to develop patience when they are encountering some strong thinking or strong mental planning. Sometimes meditators could mindful and note the thinking again and again. They may come to realize that they have the desire to think. That's why the thinking keep going. Sometimes the thinking keeps going because of attachments, or due to the attachment of meditators to certain thoughts or memory. That's why the process thoughts keep going, or the same thought process keep coming back again and again. But meditators have to perceive the desire to think further or attachment to the thoughts through personal experience, or not through what called analyzing. So when meditators are able to mindful and note whatever mental state is arising at that moment, then they shall gain concentration sooner or later, because thinking or various thought processes are getting lesser and lesser. So when a mental state has passed away by itself, then meditators might have to direct the attention of the mind back to the body object or body sensation, whichever is more distinct. So here we emphasize that meditators have to direct the attention of the mind or back to the basic object, or a stronger body object or body sensation. But when mindfulness meditators have made progress in mindfulness meditation, and the mindfulness is sharp and active, then the mindfulness you come back to the body object or a stronger body sensation by itself. As long as the mindfulness is not sharp and concentration is not deep enough, meditators have to put forth effort to direct the mindfulness or the attention of mind to the object again and again. When meditators are mindful of a strongest body object or the strongest body sensation, they have to put forth enough virya or mental effort to keep the mindfulness with that strongest object or sensation. If the effort is weak, then the mind will be wandering, thinking quite frequently. So it is important to bear in mind the guideline or the principles of mindfulness meditation or developing the mindfulness. Sometimes we explain the guideline in another way, or whatever mental states or whatever mental activity or physical activity which is arising or happening at that present moment, must be aware of it, must be mindful of it, and know it as it is. For example, as meditators are mindful of the walking meditation, sometimes due to unmindful or lapse of concentration, the other legs was shaking or wobbling. So definitely the mind will notice shaking or wobbling of the legs. So that phenomenon could be happening quite fast. Then meditators have to mindful of it as it is. For example, another example, sometimes meditators realize that they are exercising some control over the process, the movements, or exercising some form of control over the process mindfulness. So when they realize they are doing some form of control, then they should mindful of that, what called that process of controlling. So at that time, meditators did not have to purposely letting go of the control. Right thing to do is merely be mindful. Or sometimes there's a mental activity arising. For example, meditator is thinking which object to be mindful, or they are confused how to be mindful, and so on. So if they know the guideline of the practice of mindfulness, then they should mindful of the thoughts that's arising at that present moment, confusing, and so on. So if meditators have understood the guideline or the principle of mindfulness practice, then they should know what should be done during mindfulness meditation. So whatever clear object or distinct phenomenon perceived by the mind at that present moment, the meditators have to mindful and know it as it really occurs. But whenever there are two different types of phenomena, one is mental phenomenon, the other is a physical phenomenon. Then mindfulness meditators must give priority to the mental phenomenon. If meditators always ignore the mental phenomena, then they could not realize the true nature of the mind and the mental factors. Mindfulness, sati, is also one of the mental factors or mental processes. So sati is similar to other mental factors or mental processes which is subject to arising and passing away. So sati is anicca. What's anicca is dukkha. What's dukkha is not self or no self. So if mindfulness meditators aspire to make progress in satipatthana meditation, they should also realize that these three characteristics of sati, anicca, dukkha, anatta. At the beginning of the practice, and as long as mindfulness and concentration are not yet strong enough, then it is difficult to perceive the process of mindfulness clearly. Most of the mindfulness meditators are able to realize the passing away of the physical phenomena or other mental objects such as thinking, planning, and so on. In other words, they could realize the process of the objects, various objects well, but they could not realize the process of mindfulness clearly, or they can't see the process of mindfulness clearly. This is because they can't perceive or realize clearly what called conditionality of the mentality between the mental and physical phenomena. If meditators could realize them as realize mindfulness as a conditioned phenomenon, its arising is being conditioned, then they may be able to see clearly the process of mindfulness. In accordance with the teachings of the scriptures and explanations of commentaries, when meditators could realize conditionality, or sometimes say interconditionality between mental and physical phenomena, then they can realize there are three common characteristics truly and clearly. So meditator should not exercise control over the process of mindfulness. Our effort is to train the mind, or to guide the mindfulness, or to lead the mindfulness to the phenomena. So it is important to practice mindfulness meditation, vipassana meditation, in accordance with the discourse of Mahasatipatthana Sutta in other words, the teaching of the four foundation of mindfulness. So meditators could not concentrate the practice on only one of the foundations. In fact, the four foundations of mindfulness have only one essence, a single essence. The single essence of four foundation mindfulness is to mindful contemplating of various phenomena. So this mindfulness contemplation is to be applied towards these four objects. So we have mentioned them yesterday. The four objects are kaya or body, vedana feeling, citta the mind, and the dharma. So the mindfulness that we apply to the kaya and the mindfulness that we apply to vedana is no different at all. So it is also not different with the mindfulness that apply to citta and dharma. We cannot say that when we want to mindful of vedana, then we have to apply different mindfulness or different way of mindfulness on the vedana. Because mindfulness is only perceiving the object or becoming aware of the object as it really occurs. So we understand that the purpose of mindfulness meditation, vipassana meditation, is to realize the true nature of mental and physical phenomena as they really are. The true nature of phenomena does not appear clearly to the mind as long as the mindfulness and concentration are not strong enough. So it's not possible to look for the experience or the searching for the experience of the true nature of the phenomena. For example, sometimes meditators intentionally feel the movements, whether the movement is light or heavy. They purposely feel it. This is not really mindfulness because they are searching, looking for the characteristics of the phenomena. Sometimes meditators purposely sense the floor, whether the floor is cool, smooth, or warm, and so on. This is not really the way of mindfulness meditation. But when meditators are able to develop constant and continuous mindfulness, and each movement of mindfulness is attentive, precise, and energetic, then they may discover the experience through the mindfulness. So that's why we always emphasize the importance of strengthening the power of mindfulness. Meditators did not have to look for the nature or the characteristics of phenomena. And it is also important to know some points on the differences between samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. The aim of practicing mindfulness meditation, vipassana meditation, is to realize the three common characteristics of mental and physical phenomena, in those anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And before meditators could realize anicca, dukkha, anatta, they have to realize the specific characteristics or the individual characteristics of the mental and physical phenomena. Then they have to realize the relationship between the mind means the mental process, and the physical process. For example, meditators could perceive the arising of the intention naturally. So when there's a process of intention, then there's a process of movements taking place. Or when there's an object arising, then there's an arising of the process of mindfulness instantly. then they only come to realize there are three common characteristics of
ค่ะ
anicca, dukkha, anatta. But in the practice of samatha meditation, the purpose is not to realize the ultimate reality or paramattha dharma. The purpose of a samatha bhavana is to attain calmness, peacefulness, tranquility of the mind. So, in order to realize calmness, peacefulness of mind, then the samatha meditators concentrate their mind on a single object of concentration. If the mind has wandered away to other objects, they quickly bring the mind back again and concentrate on the only object of concentration. If samatha meditators experience physical pain clearly, they should ignore the physical pain as much possible, and they should put more effort to concentrate the mind on the single object. In other words, samatha meditators ignore all kinds of mental and physical phenomena. They only concentrate the mind on a single object, for example, the in-breath and out-breath, or loving kindness, compassion, and so on. So when samatha meditators have attained deeper and deeper concentration, then they will feel calm, peaceful, tranquil in the mind. But when they are no longer concentrate the mind on the single object of concentration, then the calmness, peacefulness of the mind will be subsiding gradually. So when there is no more concentration, defilements can arise again. But in the practice of mindfulness meditation, meditators have to attain certain degree of concentration. So, that concentration is known as Khanika Samadhi. This Khanika Samadhi is defined as a momentary unification of mind. So when meditators have attained such momentary concentration, they realize that the mindfulness is perceiving one phenomenon at each moment. When you have not attained Khanika Samadhi, as you're mindful of movements of rising or falling, you may still conscious of other phenomena such as hot or hearing some sound, noise, and so on. So you need to increase your mental effort gradually, so that the mindfulness staying with the strongest object. So when the mindfulness is getting stronger, then concentration shall getting deeper as well. Then when the concentration is deep enough, then there's realization that the mindfulness is perceiving one phenomenon at each moment. As you know, all conditioned phenomena are arising and passing away instantly. So at that time, there's realization of the conditioned phenomena. For example, the movements clearly, movements as movements, or hot as hot, pain as pain, and so on. That's why mindfulness is defined as full attention or paying full attention. But at the beginning of the practice, it's not easy to pay full attention to one object or one phenomenon at each moment. But when you are able to increase your viriya gradually, then you shall be able to pay attention well to each phenomenon. So when meditators are able to pay full attention to each phenomenon at each moment, then they will realize that every phenomenon is not last for more than a moment or more than a second. So when a phenomenon had passed away, then there will be arising of next phenomenon very instantly. The next phenomenon also subject to instant passing away, then there will be arising of another phenomenon. If the mindfulness and concentration are very strong, then there will be realization that the process of mindfulness is also arising and passing away almost at the same moment with the passing away of arising and passing away of the object. So that's why meditators need to put forth effort to develop momentum mindfulness. But it seems quite difficult to develop momentum mindfulness for the whole day. That's why we sometimes encourage meditators to begin with a period of time, for the 4 hours or 5 hours, a period of 4 or 5 hours, where meditators put forth some additional effort to develop momentum mindfulness within that period. But they still need to put enough effort to develop the mindfulness in other period of times. So some meditators who are able to develop momentum mindfulness day by day, then sooner or later they begin to realize concentration and some experiences in vipassana meditation. So the meditators have to attain momentary unification of mind in order to realize the true nature of mental and physical phenomena. And in the practice mindfulness meditation, meditators do not have a single object of mindfulness. They have a variety of phenomena that can be taken as the object of vipassana meditation. So sometimes meditators might have to mindful and note certain phenomena, for example pain, for quite some time. Or sometimes meditators realize that they have to mindful of rising movements and falling movements constantly and continuously, because there are no other phenomena, no other stronger phenomena. So it depends how the meditators mindful and note various processes of rising, falling movements constantly, continuously. If they do not practice the way of mindfulness meditation correctly, then they may gain only concentration. For example, when meditators develop mindfulness, and there's this single process of mindfulness that has been following and noting the process of rising, falling movements one after another. So meditators only realize that there's a process of mindfulness that have been mindful and note the movements of rising, falling, movements of rising and falling constantly and continuously for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then they may only gain concentration. Then how to practice mindfulness correctly? When you realize that there are process of rising, falling movements constantly and continuously. So mindfulness meditators have to realize, for example, process of rising movements is a process by itself. Process of falling movements is another process or another object by itself. And then when there's a process of rising movements, then the mindfulness will be arising depending on that process of rising movements. When the process of rising movement has passed away, actually the mindfulness which is dependent on that movements also subject to passing away. It's clearly explained in the discourses that if the condition that produces the phenomenon, if that condition is not permanent, what is being produced by that condition also is not permanent. So when the rising movement had passed away, the mindfulness that noted that rising movements also will pass away. When there's a process of falling movements appear, then another process of mindfulness will be arising dependent on that falling movement. When that process of falling movement has passed away, the process of mindfulness which was arising dependent on that movements also will pass away. If you can realize your practice in this way, then you are practicing vipassana meditation. So you can judge, you can know from your own practice that whether you are practicing samatha meditation or practicing vipassana meditation, or sometimes you are practicing vipassana meditation in the way of samatha meditations. For example, sometimes some meditators put a lot of effort, focus the mindfulness on the movement rising, falling. Though there's a thinking, they still think that the mindfulness is still staying with the movements of rising, falling. In that way, that process of mindfulness is not active. The meditators may be able to gain better and better concentration, but not better and better experience of vipassana meditation. So it's important to know the differences between the way of developing samadhi and the way of developing insight, jnana or wisdom or panya. So in this retreat, meditators are observing 9 factors of Uposatha Sila. So we plan to practice group sitting of meditation, practicing metta together at 8:30 every evening. The factor number 9 is not precepts, but it's about the practice of loving kindness. In loving kindness meditation is one of the 4 protective meditations. And metta, thoughts of loving kindness, is very much needed in this world. So it's important to cultivate these thoughts of loving kindness by thinking or wishing the welfare and happiness of the beings or various objects of loving kindness. So meditators must make the mental wish. In other words, developing the thoughts of loving kindness with attention, wishing the object sincerely. For example, may all beings be healthy always. May all beings be healthy always. Meditators have to wish all beings with a sincere heart, with attention. So some meditators say that they have been practicing loving kindness all the time at home by using the Pali verse Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hontu. But as long as they do not know the meaning of this Pali wish or this wish in Pali, then they could not really develop the thoughts of loving kindness. Or they do it like the way of chanting, as is a slogan in his slogan. So they either doing house chores, cooking, sweeping, washing, the mind keep on chanting this Pali verse without much attention. This is also not metta bhavana. So you have to practice metta with attention, or not without attention or mindlessly. The practice of metta is quite helpful or supporting the practice vipassana. One of the benefits of metta is to attain concentration easily, or the mind become composed easily. It also can help to soften the mind. When meditators make progress in the metta bhavana, then when they practice vipassana meditation, they could perceive the arising of the mental states quite instantly. This is the benefit of practicing metta bhavana. In the evening, we also pay respect or chanting the 5 honors or Panchaguna Puja, Imaya, Dhammanu, Dhammapatipatiya, Buddhan Pujami, and so on. Puja means honor or respect. So the best way to honor the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or to show our highest respect is by the practice of a Satipatthana Vipassana Bhavana. So, Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipati. So, the first Dhamma here refer to 9 stages of Lokuttara Dhamma, consists of 4 stages of path knowledge, 4 stages of fruition knowledge, and Nibbana. So, what is the practice Dhamma that enable you to realize the 9 Lokuttara Dhamma? Actually, by the practice Satipatthana Vipassana Bhavana, then you shall realize 9 Lokuttara Dhamma eventually. So, the right way of paying homage, or what we call doing puja to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, is by the practice of Satipatthana meditation. So it's not only making puja by offering flowers, incense, water, candles. In many discourses, the Buddha also said, you should strive to realize your own welfare and happiness. What is your own welfare and happiness that you have to attain in the Buddha Sasana? Your own welfare and happiness is to attain these 9 Lokuttara Dhamma. So that's why you should not waste this golden opportunity living in this Buddha Sasana, this era of Buddha Sasana. So I wish all meditators shall be able to pay the highest respect or honors to the Triple Gems by the practice of Satipatthana Vipassana Bhavana and realizing your spiritual aim eventually.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.